Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Karen.
My topic is about faith also. So, I guess God had a plan, right? I want to thank Carmel for, where's Carmel? Let's see. Oh, she's in the back. For her songs, I really appreciated those. They really touched me. The words you talk about the awesomeness of God and all the different ways, in terms of all the different ways that He's awesome to us. So today I'm going to take you through a personal journey, a life experience I had in 2015. My husband and I, well, technically our family, we went through, and God's evidence of faith in our lives. But it's a personal journey for me because I saw growth from it as well. So in January, I'm going to just start my story. In January of 2015, the company that I was working for decided to lay off 90% of IT. So I was part of the layoffs. They offshored it all to India. So after that occurred, there's a whole list of us, and we're going through the interview process. And I know a lot of us have gone through various trials in our lives, something similar, or have known someone who's gone through something like this. So going through the interview process, through it all, I would interview with someone, and I was working with a headhunter also, and I would get feedback from every interview that I went to that they loved me, but somehow things wouldn't work out, and I just couldn't understand it. Why in every interview, and I would make sure and ask the headhunter, are you sure there isn't something that I'm not doing or something that I'm not saying that they're looking for? Because I knew their expectations of the job. I went in there all prepared, did all the research, did all the stuff I'm supposed to do, looked at my resume, made sure when I answered everything that I had, in my experience, in my background of knowledge, I presented it. So they were like, no, there's absolutely no negative feedback about you. So I couldn't understand what was going on. And before every interview, I would pray, God, give me the wisdom. You know what they're looking for. Give me the wisdom to say or to express whatever they needed to hear, however they needed to hear it. Give them the open heart that they need to receive whatever you're putting in my mouth to give to them. But things weren't working out, so I said to myself, maybe I need to be a little more explicit in my prayer. So I said, okay, the next time I went in, okay, God, I want this job. So let's move from the passive now to the more active. I want this job. So besides that, added the fact that I wanted this job. Going to the interview, came back out, everything went great, they loved me. I keep hearing the same response, but there was nothing that would work out. So I said, okay, finally I was discussing this with my husband, and my husband would encourage me and say, you know that before you even go in, before you even have the interview, before you even interview, understand that He's already worked this out. And it's hard when you're going through something like that to look at it from the point that He's already provided. God has already provided. Because in the midst of it, you're thinking, well, I don't quite see it. Why is this not working out? So end of August came around. This is all this time, from January to August. So this has been going on. End of August 2015, just before Matt was supposed to go back to school, we decided to go to Legoland for a little field trip, have a fun time. That's when my husband had an accident. I'm not sure if you all know, but he tore his ACL and his meniscus because the pneumatic gates closed on his knee. So now he's He's not able to move around. We found out, we went in thinking, okay, he just injured his knee. 2 weeks later, we found out that he had his stairs and he would have to go through surgery. So on top of not having a job, here's something else that happened. So after the accident, on the day of Michael's surgery, while Michael, I don't think you knew this, honey, but while he was in surgery, I actually got a call for an interview. So I was just like, okay, so in the midst of going through all of this, I got a call for an interview. And continuing after surgery, continuing our daily activities, Matt was already in school. Taking Matt to school, then helping Michael out because he was actually sleeping on the sofa downstairs because he was not allowed to move at all. His leg had to be fully elevated all the time. So he was not allowed to put his leg down. He was not allowed to bear weight or anything like that on it. So continuing our activities, the phone interview came around. So I dropped Matt to school, parked at USPS in their parking lot and had my phone interview. So I had the phone interview and they said, oh, we love you. You know, we want to meet you. So the next week they scheduled a face-to-face and the company was only about 20 minutes away from home. So I made sure Mike was all set up. He had everything to eat, drink. He was all taken care of and I went to the interview. So about a week or so later, the company called me and they said they wanted to hire me. So I said, good. I heard this, by the way, I heard the story all along. From January, they even said they wanted to hire me. They even said along the way, okay, there's this project we specifically wanted you for, but we need to wait until that got started. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. But this particular company said again, oh, that they wanted to hire me, but it was for a new position they were creating in IT. So I was thinking to myself, oh, great, here we go again. It's the same old, just waiting. So I continued. Matt was going to rehab at that time. Matt was in school. Then a couple weeks later, about midweek, I got an offer. So it's like, great, now actually we've reached to that step where I got an offer. That same Friday, so I got an offer on the Wednesday. That same Friday, Mike got clearance to drive again. He was going through rehab. That same Friday, he got clearance to drive. So finally, he could be independent. So why am I sharing this story with you all? I'm sharing this because I came to an understanding when it occurred. When he got clearance to drive, right after I got the job offer, I realized this entire time, over almost a period of 9 months, God was telling me, I have it already taken care of. Just wait. Just wait. Because when Mike was able to be self-sustaining again, meaning that he could move around as he's able, I could go off to work without having to think about that at home. He knew what he was doing. If I had started to work before, I realized that I would have had to take time off to take care of him, or something like that, something similar to that, because everything that he needed to get done, he needed someone to help him. So I realized that God was orchestrating this entire thing, but just in the midst of it, I wasn't seeing it. And the scripture came to mind in 1 Thessalonians 5:24. The one who calls you is faithful, and he will do it. He is the faithful one. So the growth here was all along he had been providing, even when he stopped those situations from working out, which I couldn't understand. All along, from the personal side of things with me, he had been taking care of me. But I look at it also in the point of view that even from the beginning, he's been taking care of all of us, right? From the foundations of the world, the Lamb was slain. He has always been faithful to us. The physical just reinforced the spiritual as well. So, and the point that drove home in this entire experience is that faith, he is faithful. It's God is faith. Faith is a person. He's the one who takes care of everything. His action is because of who he is. And through this experience, without going through an experience like this, you wouldn't come to learn and you wouldn't come to grow and understand who he is. So through this experience, this is what he taught me about faith.